"You're not a guest here, Juliet. Don't act like one." That's what Evelyn said as she tossed my bedsheets into a cardboard box like they were trash. My comforter, the one my mom gave me before she died, was stuffed in after them, crumpled and dirty from the floor. I stood in the doorway of my own bedroom, watching her strip 15 years of my life off the walls. I'm Juliet, and this used to be my home. Now, it's Evelyn's kingdom, and I'm just the girl who sleeps in the basement. It's not forever, she added, like that made it better. Ruby and Cole need space. They're only staying for a few months. I looked at my dad, standing behind her with his arms crossed, eyes on the floor. He didn't say a word, not to her, not to me, not even when I said, "But this is my room." "Juliet," he said finally, but it was just my name. No defence, no explanation, just a warning not to push it. Ruby strolled in behind them, dragging a pink suitcase. She looked around like she was inspecting a hotel suite. "Ooh, this is cute. Way better than Mom's old place." I didn't move. I couldn't. My hands were clenched so tight my nails were digging into my palms. Evelyn turned to me with that fake smile she always wore when she was about to do something cruel. "Be a team player, sweetheart. There's a perfectly good space in the basement. We'll help you set it up." By we, she meant me. I carried my own box of stuff down the narrow stairs, stepping over a pile of laundry Cole had dumped there earlier. The basement smelled like mildew and wet cardboard. There was a crawl space in the corner with just enough room for a twin mattress and one outlet. No window, no heat. I set the box down and sat beside it. My knees touched the wall. I could hear them upstairs laughing. Ruby's voice, Evelyn's, even Cole, who hadn't said hi to me once, just walked in like he owned the place. I used to have a photo of my mom on the nightstand. It was gone. Probably packed away or tossed in the garage with the rest of my life. I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember waking up hours later, cold and stiff, still in my jeans, the light bulb above me flickering like it couldn't decide if it wanted to stay alive. That's when I saw the envelope. It was wedged in the box I hadn't unpacked yet. Cream-coloured, thick paper, no return address. My name was written in blue ink, just Juliet, like whoever wrote it knew I didn't need a last name to know who I was. I tore it open with shaking hands. Inside was a letter from a law firm. A trust fund had matured. My maternal grandmother, Adeline, had left something for me. Not just something. Everything. It was real. I read it 3 times before I believed it. The trust had been locked until I turned 22. The date was yesterday. I stared at the letter like it might vanish if I blinked. My heart was pounding so loud I couldn't hear anything else. Not the pipes groaning in the walls, not the footsteps above me, just the rush of blood in my ears. I had money, power, a way out. No, more than that, a way back in. Because Evelyn thought she'd won. She thought she could erase my mom, erase me, and replace us with her perfect little family. But she didn't know what Adeline knew, what she saw coming. "They won't see you coming," she used to say. I thought it was just a sweet thing grandmas said. Turns out it was a prophecy. I folded the letter and slipped it into my hoodie pocket. My fingers were still trembling, but not from fear anymore. Upstairs, I could hear Evelyn's voice again. She was telling Ruby to hang her dresses in the closet. My closet. The one where I used to hide when I was little and scared of thunderstorms. I stood up and looked around the crawl space. The mattress was lumpy. The walls were bare. There was a spider in the corner, spinning a web like it owned the place. I smiled. Let them think I'm weak. Let them think I'm nothing. They have no idea who I am, yet. The next morning, I took the letter and walked straight past the kitchen without a word. Evelyn was stirring her coffee like she was in a commercial, wearing one of her silk robes and pretending not to notice me. Ruby scrolled through her phone at the table. Cole was eating cereal straight from the box. "Where are you going?" Evelyn asked, eyes still on her mug. "Out," I said, and shut the door behind me. The air outside felt different, like it knew something had shifted. I took the bus to the building office. It was only a few blocks away, tucked between a laundromat and a nail salon. The door creaked when I opened it. Inside it smelled like paper and old coffee. "Juliet?" a woman's voice called from the back. Esther stepped out from behind a filing cabinet, wiping her hands on her skirt. Her grey curls were pinned up, and her glasses dangled from a chain around her neck. "You look like your grandmother," she said, smiling. "Come in." I followed her into the tiny office. The walls were lined with boxes labelled in neat handwriting. She poured me tea without asking. "I got this yesterday." I handed her the letter. "It's real, right?" She read it, nodding slowly. "It's real. Adeline set it up years ago. She wanted to make sure you'd be taken care of. She didn't trust your father." She was right. Esther looked up at me. "You know what this means?" I nodded. "I'm not just the beneficiary. I'm the future owner of the building." "Not future," she said, flipping the page. "Present." The trust matured. "You have full access now. You just need to make it official." My heart thudded. "How?" "Start with a lawyer. And don't tell anyone. Not yet." I left the office with a list of names, a folder of documents, and a plan. That night, I called Jordan. He answered on the second ring. "Hey, Jules, what's up?" "I need your help. And I need you to swear you won't breathe a word to anyone." "Okay." Now I'm intrigued. We met at the diner on 5th. I slid into the booth across from him and handed him the letter. He read it twice, then looked at me like I'd just told him I was secretly royalty. "Wait, so your grandma left you a trust that owns the whole building?" "Not yet, but close. Esther's helping. I just need to finish the paperwork." Jordan leaned back. "You're serious about this?" "I've been sleeping in a crawl space. Evelyn put her name on my mail to make it look like I live off her. She's been trying to control everything." He frowned. "That's fraud." "I know." He tapped the table. "Okay, first step is getting a lawyer. I know someone. She's good, quiet. Doesn't ask questions she doesn't need answers to." I nodded. "I want it done fast, quiet, and I want to own that building before Evelyn even knows what's happening." He grinned. "This is going to be fun." The next few days were a blur. Meetings, signatures, background checks. I kept my head down at home, ate in the basement, avoided eye contact. One night, I came upstairs to grab my charger and found Ruby in my old room, sitting on the bed with her phone in her lap. She looked up. "Hey." I paused in the doorway. She stood. "I didn't know it was your room." I raised an eyebrow. "I mean, I knew, but I didn't know it mattered to you. Mum just said you were fine with it." "Did I look fine?" She bit her lip. "No, you looked like you wanted to cry." I didn't say anything. She walked toward me, then stopped. "I'm sorry for taking it. I didn't mean to be a jerk." I nodded once. "Thanks." It wasn't much, but it was more than I expected. That night, I got the email. Subject: Building ownership transfer complete. My breath caught. I clicked it open. My name was there. Signed, sealed, official. I was the owner. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. They thought they'd pushed me down. They didn't realise I was building a ladder. The first thing I did as the new owner was buy gloves and a mop. "Why are you scrubbing the hallway?" Mrs. Lee from 2B asked, peeking out from her door. "Just helping out," I said, wringing out the mop water. "It needed it." She nodded slowly. "You're Evelyn's stepdaughter, right?" I paused. "Yeah." "Well, thank you. No one's cleaned down here in months." I smiled and kept working. Every scuff mark I wiped off the wall felt like peeling away a piece of Evelyn's rot. I patched holes, replaced a flickering light bulb, even fixed the broken laundry machine with a YouTube tutorial and Jordan's help. "Are you sure you want to do this yourself?" he asked, handing me a wrench. "If I don't, who will?" He didn't argue. I stayed anonymous. Esther helped me set up a management alias, JA Properties. It sounded professional enough, and no one would connect it to me. But Evelyn was getting suspicious. One morning, I came upstairs to find her pacing in the living room, phone pressed to her ear. "I'm telling you, something's going on," she snapped. The maintenance crew didn't show up, but the hallway was clean, and someone fixed the dryer. She turned and saw me. "Where were you last night?" she asked. "Studying," I lied. "For what? You're not even in school," I shrugged. "Maybe I'm planning to go back." She narrowed her eyes. "Don't get smart." "Too late," I said, walking past her. Later that day, she stormed into the basement while I was folding laundry. "I need more space down here," she announced. "There are boxes in the garage that need storing." I didn't move. "There's no room." "Make some," she snapped. "This is my house." I bent down and grabbed my folder of documents, ownership papers, contracts, everything, and slid them under a loose floorboard behind my mattress. "Did you hear me?" Evelyn barked. "Yeah," I said, standing. "I'll figure it out." She left in a huff, muttering about how ungrateful I was. That night, I heard her and my dad arguing in the kitchen. "We can't afford to renovate," he said. "We're already behind on the mortgage." Evelyn hissed. "Then we raise the rent. Or evict the ones who can't pay." My stomach dropped. "You can't just kick people out," he said. "Watch me." I crept up the stairs and crouched near the hallway. Evelyn's voice was sharp. "That couple in 3A. They're late again. And that old woman in 1C. What's she even doing here? We need cleaner tenants, better ones. People who don't hang laundry on the balcony." "Evelyn, no. I'm done waiting. I'll draft the notices myself." I slipped back downstairs before they saw me. The next morning, I knocked on Ruby's door. She opened it, hair in a messy bun, mascara smudged from sleep. "Hey," I said. "Can we talk?" She stepped aside, letting me in. The room still had pieces of me, my old lamp, my bookshelf, even the dream catcher Mum gave me. "What's up?" "I heard Evelyn talking about evicting people. Is that true?" She sighed. "Yeah, she told me last night. Said it's time to clean up the place. Her words." "She can't do that." Ruby looked at me. "You think I agree with her?" "I don't know what you think." She sat on the bed. "It's not like I have a say. She doesn't listen to me. Never has." I stared at her. "You could try." She scoffed. "You think I haven't?" She treats me like a kid, like I'm just supposed to nod and smile. I sat beside her. "I get it." She looked at me. "Do you?" I nodded. She erased my mum, took my room, made me feel like a guest in my own house. Ruby was quiet. "You're not like her," I said. "You don't have to be." She met my eyes. "Neither do you." That hit harder than I expected. Later that week, Dad found me in the hallway, talking to Mrs. Lee about the new laundry schedule. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Helping." He frowned. "You're not the landlord. Neither is Evelyn." He stepped closer. "You don't know what you're getting into. This isn't your business." I looked him dead in the eye. "It is now." He walked away without another word. That night, I went into Evelyn's room while she was out. Her drawer was locked, but I'd watched her open it before. One click with a bobby pin, and it popped open. Inside were papers, folders labelled with my name, my mum's name, and something that made my blood run cold. Petition for trust access. Denied. There were 3 of them, dated years apart. All signed by lawyers, all rejected. Evelyn had tried to get into my inheritance. She knew. She'd been trying to take what wasn't hers for years. I put everything back exactly how I found it. Then I went downstairs, pulled the floorboard up, and held my ownership papers in my hands. She wanted the building. Too bad. I already owned it. I found Ruby on the fire escape, legs dangling through the bars, cigarette burning between her fingers. "You don't smoke?" I said. She shrugged. "I don't. I just like the smell. Reminds me of Dad." I leaned against the railing. "You know Evelyn's planning to evict Mrs. Lee, right?" Ruby nodded. "Yeah. She told me this morning. Said it's for the good of the building, whatever that means." "She's lived here for 20 years. "I know." I waited. "So?" Ruby took a drag and exhaled slowly. "What do you want me to say, Juliet? That I'm okay with it? I'm not." "Then say something to her." I try. She shuts me down. Every time. "Try harder." Ruby turned to me. "Why do you care so much? You never used to." "Because I've seen what she does to people when no one stops her." She looked away. "She wasn't always like this." I raised an eyebrow. "She used to be less angry when I was little, before she married your dad, before the money problems." "She tried to steal my trust fund." Ruby flinched. "What?" I nodded. "I found the papers. She petitioned for access 3 times. She stared at me. "Why would she do that?" "Because she thought no one would stop her." Ruby dropped the cigarette, crushed it with her heel. "I didn't know, I swear." "I believe you." We sat in silence for a minute. "She's not going to stop," I said. "Not unless someone makes her." Ruby looked at me. "And you think that someone is you?" I didn't answer. Later that day, Dad cornered me in the hallway. Evelyn says you've been snooping in her things. I haven't. She says you're interfering with tenants. I live here. I talk to people. He lowered his voice. This isn't your concern, Juliet. It is now. He stepped closer. You're making things harder than they need to be. I stared him down. You let her take everything from me, my room, my space, my mother's things, and you said nothing. His jaw clenched. It was complicated. No, it was cowardly. He didn't argue, just walked away. That night I had a dream about Mum. She was standing in the kitchen humming, stirring something on the stove. Her hair was pulled back, apron tied around her waist. I woke up crying. The next morning, I went to the garage and found the box with her name on it. Evelyn had shoved it behind old Christmas decorations and broken furniture. I pulled it out and opened it. Photos. Letters. A necklace I hadn't seen in years. I sat there on the concrete floor, holding the chain in my hands when Ruby walked in. What's that? She asked. My mum's things. She looked at the box, then at me. She was pretty. She was everything. Ruby sat down across from me. I don't remember my dad much. He left when I was 6. Mom barely talks about him. I nodded. Mine left too, just stayed in the same house. She looked at me. Do you hate her? Evelyn? She nodded. I paused. I did, for a long time. But now, I think I just want her gone. Ruby was quiet. Then she said, If you had the chance to make her leave, would you? I looked at her. Yes. She didn't flinch. Would you make me leave too? I blinked. Do you want to stay? I don't know, but I don't want to be like her. You're not, Ruby stood. If you need help, I'm in. That night, I went back to the crawl space and pulled out the documents. I ran my fingers over the signature line. Then I called Jordan. It's time, I said. He didn't ask what I meant. He just said, I'll bring the papers. The next day, I met with Esther in the laundry room. I need to hold a tenant meeting, I told her. But I don't want them to know it's me yet. She smiled. I'll handle it. By the end of the week, every tenant had a flyer slipped under their door. Tenant rights meeting, Saturday, 7 p.m, community room. Evelyn saw one on the floor and scoffed. Who's organising this nonsense? I shrugged. No idea. Saturday came. I watched from the back of the room, hoodie up, head down. Esther stood at the front. There's been a change in ownership, she announced. And with it, a change in policy. No more surprise evictions. No more intimidation. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Your new landlord believes in transparency, she continued, in fairness, and in protecting those who have called this place home. People clapped. Some cried. Mrs. Lee wiped her eyes. I slipped out before it ended. As I turned the corner, I saw Dad standing at the end of the hallway watching me, his brow furrowed. He knew, not everything, but enough. I didn't stop. Let him wonder. Let them all. The morning I printed the eviction notices, my hands didn't shake. Jordan sat across from me at the cafe, sipping his coffee and watching me slide the papers into a folder. You sure you want to do it like this? He asked. I've never been more sure of anything, he nodded. Then let's make it count. We walked back to the building together. I took the long way in through the back entrance, just in case Evelyn was lurking near the front. The folder felt heavier than it should have, like it knew what it carried. 3 envelopes. 1 for Evelyn, 1 for Dad, 1 for Cole. Ruby's name wasn't on any of them. I slipped the first notice under their bedroom door early the next morning. No knocking, no warning, just paper and silence. The second I turned the corner, I heard it. What the hell is this? Evelyn's voice exploded through the apartment. I stood at the top of the basement stairs, calm, waiting. Marky! She screamed. Get in here! I heard footsteps, then a pause. You've got to be kidding me, Dad said. Juliet! Evelyn shouted. Get up here right now! I walked slowly, 1 step at a time. She was standing in the living room, the notice crumpled in her hand, eyes wild. You think this is funny? She snapped. You forged this? Who gave you the nerve? I didn't forge anything, I said, holding up my own copy. It's legal, it's real, and it's signed by the owner of this building. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. What are you talking about? Dad asked, voice low. I bought the building, I said. 2 weeks ago. Evelyn laughed, this high, fake sound that cracked halfway through. You? You don't have money. You don't even have a job. My grandmother made sure I'd be taken care of. She left me the trust, the building, everything. Dad stepped back like I'd punched him. You're lying, Evelyn hissed. I pulled out the ownership papers and dropped them on the coffee table. She didn't touch them, just stared. You forged this, she said again, quieter this time. No, but you forged my name on utility bills. That's illegal. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Dad finally spoke. Why didn't you tell us? Because you would have tried to stop me. Ruby appeared in the hallway, her face pale. You knew? Evelyn asked her. Ruby shook her head. Not until recently. You're both ungrateful little brats, Evelyn snapped. After everything I've done, I stepped forward. What have you done, Evelyn? Took my room, threw away my mom's things, tried to steal my trust fund. Dad flinched. You made me sleep in a crawl space while you played house in my mother's bed. Evelyn's face twisted. You think you're better than us now? Because of some money? No, I said. Because I survived you. She lunged for the papers, but I grabbed them first. Don't touch what doesn't belong to you, I said. You can't do this, she hissed. You can't just throw us out. I can, and I am. She turned to Dad. Say something. He looked at me. Is it true? You really own it? I nodded. He sat down slowly, like his legs had given out. You should have protected me, I said to him. You let her destroy everything. He didn't answer. I turned to Ruby. You can stay, if you want. She blinked. What? You're not on the notice. You've been decent. That's more than I can say for them. Evelyn gasped. You keep her and not us. I'm not keeping anyone. I'm giving her a choice. Ruby looked at me, then at Evelyn. I'm staying, she said quietly. You ungrateful little snake, Evelyn spat. Ruby didn't even flinch. I walked to the door and opened it. You have 30 days, I said. Use them however you want. They didn't move. Not right away, but I did. I walked out, down the stairs and into the courtyard. Esther was waiting by the garden, watering the roses. How'd it go? She asked. Exactly how it needed to. She smiled and handed me the hose. Your grandmother would be proud. I took it, letting the water run through my fingers. For the first time in years, I felt clean. Inside, I could still hear Evelyn yelling, could still hear Dad saying nothing, but it didn't matter, because the building was mine. And soon, they wouldn't be. Evelyn slammed the door open so hard it bounced off the wall. You little witch, she screamed, waving the eviction notice like it was on fire. You think you can do this to me? To us? She stormed into the living room, where I was sitting with Ruby and Jordan, calmly sipping tea. I don't think, I said, setting my cup down. I know. You forged these papers. There's no way you bought this building. You don't even have a job. Jordan stood up, cool and collected. Actually, she did everything legally. I'm her legal consultant. All documents have been verified and recorded with the city. Evelyn's face went red. You're lying. This is a scam. Ruby stepped forward. Mum, it's real. I saw the paperwork. Evelyn spun on her. And you're siding with her now? After everything I've done for you? For me? Ruby scoffed. You used me to take her room. You used all of us. You ungrateful... Don't! Ruby snapped. Don't you dare call me that. Evelyn's mouth opened and closed, speechless for once. Dad walked in then, slow, like he'd aged 10 years overnight. He looked at the three of us, then at Evelyn. What's going on? She's evicting us, Evelyn said, pointing at me. Your daughter is throwing us onto the street. He turned to me. Is that true? I nodded. 30 days. It's all legal. He sat down on the armrest of the couch, rubbing his face. I don't understand. How did you even... You remember the trust Grandma set up? I asked. The one you said was just for emergencies. He looked up, eyes narrowing. She left it all to me. The building, the money, everything. I turned 22. The trust matured. I used it. Evelyn's voice cracked. You can't just... I can, I said. And I did. Dad stared at the floor. I didn't know. You didn't want to know, I said. You let her run everything. You let her erase Mum. He looked at me, finally. I didn't mean to. But you did, I said. You let her take my room. You watched me move into a basement and said nothing. I thought it was temporary. It was permanent until now. Evelyn crossed her arms. You'll regret this. You think you're better than us because of a little money? No, I said. I'm better because I didn't become you. Her eyes burned holes into me. Jordan cleared his throat. Everything's been filed. You have until the end of the month to vacate. After that, legal action begins. Evelyn turned to Dad. Say something. Stop this. He shook his head slowly. I can't. You're really going to let her do this? He didn't answer. She stared at him. You're pathetic. He flinched. I stood. You should go. Now. Before you say something else you can't take back. Evelyn stepped forward, eyes wild. You think you've won? You think kicking us out makes you strong? It makes you cruel. I didn't blink. Cruel is making a child sleep next to a water heater while you redecorate her bedroom. Evelyn lunged for the contract on the table, but Jordan was faster. He snatched it and stepped back. Touch that again and we'll file for harassment, he said calmly. She froze. Ruby exhaled. Mum, just go. Evelyn looked at her like she didn't recognise her own daughter. You too, she whispered. Ruby nodded. Yeah, me too. Evelyn turned, grabbed her purse, and stormed out the door, slamming it behind her. Silence fell. Dad still hadn't moved, just stared at the floor like it might open up and swallow him. Why didn't you tell me? He asked finally, voice low. Would it have mattered? I said. He looked up. Yes, maybe. I sat back down. There's something else, isn't there? He swallowed hard. After your mom died, I signed guardianship over to your grandmother. I thought it was temporary, but the papers made it permanent. I gave up legal rights. I stared at him. You gave me away. I thought I was doing the right thing. I wasn't ready. I was broken. And then you married Evelyn 3 months later. He winced. I was trying to fix things. You didn't. He nodded. I know. I stood. You're not just being evicted from the building, Dad. You're being evicted from my life. I've given you too many chances. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. I walked to the door and opened it. 30 days, then I changed the locks. He stood slowly, walked past me and paused at the door. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't answer. He left. Ruby sat down on the couch, looking shell-shocked. You okay? I asked. She nodded. I think so. You don't have to stay. I want to. I sat beside her. I lost a family, I said quietly, but I gained peace. She looked at me. Maybe you didn't lose all of us. I looked at her. Maybe not. Dad showed up at my door 2 days later, holding a manila envelope and looking like he hadn't slept since the eviction. I need to talk to you, he said. I didn't move. You have 27 days. What's left to say? He held up the envelope. This. You need to see this. I let him in, but only just inside the doorway. He looked around like it was the first time he'd ever noticed the walls, the floor, the space I lived in. He handed me the envelope, and I opened it right there. Inside were legal papers, old ones, dated right after Mum died. What is this? I asked. He rubbed the back of his neck. Your mum's will, the original one, not the copy Evelyn found in the file cabinet. I flipped through the pages. My name was everywhere. And then I saw it, one line buried in the middle. Guardianship of minor child Juliet to be transferred to Adeline Santiago to remain in effect unless legally contested within 90 days. You never contested it, I said. I didn't think I had to. I thought it was temporary, so it wasn't. He sat down on the edge of the armchair. Your mum didn't trust me, not after Evelyn started coming around. My stomach turned. Wait, Evelyn was around before Mom died? He looked up, ashamed. We were just talking. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough for Mom to write this. He didn't deny it. I stared at the papers again. So Evelyn never had legal power over me. No, she didn't. She forged my name, put me on her bills, acted like she was my guardian. I didn't know she did that. I looked him dead in the eye. You didn't care enough to find out. He didn't argue. I dropped the papers on the table. Why are you telling me this now? Because I owe you the truth, and because I'm not fighting the eviction. I blinked. What? I'm leaving. Evelyn and I... It's done. I crossed my arms. What about Cole? He's going with her. He doesn't want anything to do with me. I didn't say anything. He stood. I know I failed you, and I know sorry isn't enough. But I wanted you to have this. Your mom wanted you protected. She protected me? I said. You didn't. He nodded. I know. He walked to the door, then turned back. I hope someday you'll talk to me again. I didn't answer. He left quietly this time. I stared at the papers for a long time, then called Jordan. They never had legal rights over me, I said. Then everything Evelyn did was illegal. He let out a low whistle. You want to press charges? I thought about it. About courtrooms and headlines and dragging it all into the light. No, I said finally. I just want them gone. Later that evening, Evelyn returned for her things. She didn't knock. Just barged in with Cole behind her, both of them glaring. I'm only here to get my stuff, she said. Good, I said. Cole walked past me like I was invisible. Ruby stood in the hallway, arms crossed. You don't have to be like her, I said to him. He didn't even look at me. Evelyn came down the stairs carrying a box. You think you've won, Juliet. But karma doesn't forget. No, I said. It doesn't. She sneered. You'll be alone. You'll see. Ruby stepped forward. No, she won't. Evelyn froze. Ruby stared her down. You made me choose. I chose. Evelyn's mouth twitched. You'll regret it. I already regret not doing it sooner. They left without another word. I watched from the window as they loaded the car. Evelyn slammed the trunk. Cole lit a cigarette and flicked it into the street. They drove off without looking back. I stood there for a long time. Ruby came up behind me. They're gone, I nodded. You okay? I turned to her. I think so, she smiled. I was thinking, maybe I'll enroll at the community college, try something different. I raised an eyebrow. Really? Yeah. I want to do something that's mine, not hers, I smiled. I'll help you with the application, she grinned. Thanks. We stood there in the quiet, the apartment finally still. I walked to the crawl space, opened the loose floorboard and pulled out the last piece of paper I'd hidden. The deed. I carried it upstairs, past the empty rooms, past the echoes of everything they'd taken from me. I pinned it to the fridge. Let everyone see. This was mine now. All of it. The sound of hammering echoed from the courtyard. I leaned out the window and saw Jordan holding a level against the new wooden post we'd installed by the garden. Ruby stood beside him, holding a plaque wrapped in brown paper. Hold it straight, she said. I am, Jordan muttered, squinting. I walked down to meet them, wiping paint off my hands with a rag. You ready? I asked. Ruby nodded and peeled the paper away. The plaque was simple. Just a few words etched in brass. She saw what they didn't. Adeline. Jordan stepped back. Looks good, Ruby smiled. She deserves it. We stood there for a minute, the three of us, in the middle of the courtyard that used to be overgrown and forgotten. Now it had benches, flowers, a little herb patch someone from 2B started. The building was changing, and so was I. Hey, Jordan said, nudging me. You got a minute? I followed him inside while Ruby stayed to water the basil. He led me to the stairwell, then up to the top floor. This better not be a surprise party, I said, because I will walk right back down. He laughed. No party, just come see. He opened the door to the top floor unit, the one with the best view, the one that had been empty for years. I stepped inside and froze. The walls were freshly painted, light grey, clean. The floors were polished. A new couch sat under the big window. A bookshelf, mostly empty, waited in the corner. And in the centre of the room, a small wooden table with one thing on it, Mum's photo framed. My throat tightened. You did this? I asked. Jordan shrugged. You've been fixing everything else? Figured someone should fix something for you. I walked to the window and looked out. The city stretched in every direction. Cars, rooftops, sunlight bouncing off windows. I gave them my room, I said quietly. Jordan stepped beside me. Yeah. And now you've got the whole house. I turned and hugged him. No words, just that. Later that afternoon, Ruby knocked on my door holding a stack of papers. Enrollment forms, she said. I'm doing it. I smiled. That's great. She hesitated. Also, I found this in one of Mum's old boxes. She handed me a worn notebook. I opened it. Inside were notes, Evelyn's handwriting, lists of expenses, plans, and, surprisingly, letters she never sent. One was addressed to me. I read the first line and stopped. Juliet, I know you'll never forgive me, and maybe you shouldn't, but I want you to know I saw what I did. I saw it too late. I closed it. You don't have to read them, Ruby said. I just thought you should have them. Do with them what you want. I nodded. Thanks. She turned to leave, then paused. You know, I thought she was protecting us. But maybe she was just protecting herself. She was scared, I said. Of what? Of being powerless. Ruby looked at me. You're not scared, are you? I thought about it. No, I said. Not anymore. That night, I walked through the building, checking in with tenants. Mrs. Lee gave me a bag of dumplings. The couple in 3A invited me to their baby shower. Even the grumpy guy in 1C called me kid instead of that girl. When I got back upstairs, I found a note on my door. It was from Dad. I'm staying with a friend. I've started looking for work. I don't expect anything from you, but I wanted you to know I'm trying. I folded the note and stuck it in the drawer with Evelyn's letters. Maybe one day I'd read them, maybe not. For now, I had walls to paint, a garden to water, a sister to help through college, and a home that finally felt like mine. I stood by the window again, the city glowing beneath me. They took my room, but I took it all back, and then some.